green-white without some of, like, just the way it's positioned in general, I still feel like he's not directly going for Delver, and because of that, I like the more powerful deck, which I believe Adam's playing in this matchup.
Finally, 3 versus 6, Caleb Durward with Naya Pod versus Blake Kettle with Naya Humans. I think we both agree that it's likely that Pod is going to win it again, but the Naya Humans is more aggressive than a lot of these other decks, so I think he has the possibility to pull it out, but I think just without looking at the deck list directly, I would give it to Caleb to begin with.
Right. In general here, I think that you might be right, the Esper deck has a little bit of trouble in the first round. I think the Pod decks are very well positioned in this top 8. They're doing a lot of what the other decks are doing. We have 6 Birds of Paradise decks in this top 8.
To note, wow, there are no, the Naya Humans list is definitely a Lightning Mauler, Silverblade Paladin deck.
Oh, okay. So we're
talking about Naya Humans. It's like actually the human list.
Okay, quick prediction before we get to our matchup. I'm going to predict to win the entire thing. I like Caleb Durward's deck. He's playing a Naya Pod deck, and he's not just playing kind of like... So there's 2 philosophies on Pod. There's the Brian Kibler philosophy, where it's like, I'm going to play this aggro deck, and I'm going to play a Birthing Pod, and I'm going to get some good value off this Birthing Pod. And then there's the second philosophy, which is, I'm going to Pod into Elishnorn, and I'm going to play really big things and make this Pod terrifying. Caleb's the second philosophy, and in the all Birds of Paradise top 8, I don't know if he has a bad matchup in here.
I think Caleb will probably end up winning it, but the thing I'm going to say is that even though I think Caleb is going to win it, I want Mike to win with Dungrove Elder. Okay, right. And we've got Adam and Austin waiting for us, so let's let him go to it. There is Adam, you can see on the right, with quote-unquote mono blue. He does not have any white spells main, but he does have white mana because he has Moorland Haunt.
He's going to probe here. So a pretty strong start from Austin Fritz. He's got his mana creature into a Birthing Pod, which is something that really Adam typically can't let resolve in game 1. When you play Delver, if you have a very fast draw, you can let Pod resolve. But once Pod resolves, you've essentially resigned yourself to saying, like, in about 7 turns, I'm going to lose this game. Especially game 1, because you don't have a way to remove it. So, so remember, he also has a turn 2 sword to make if he's worried about any sort of counter spell. What's cool about Adam Prosak's deck is that Augur Bolus as a 1/3 is actually a very good card. It's in a lot of ways what he's looking for against these kind of aggressive decks. Austin Fritz's singleton Birthing Pod, though, presents a threat here. Prosak ponders, does not shuffle. Pretty typical there.
And there's a 1-drop.
There's the Pilgrim that we knew about. So remember, he has a second land, another mana creature, and as Prosak knows...
Augur?
Yep.
If he does not have a gut shot, he'd be happy to find one.
He's reading it. Yeah, he'd better find a gut shot if he doesn't have one. Otherwise, there's going to be I imagine, a Birthing Pod on the other side of the board.
He's like, can I get this while you read that? Okay, thank you.
Taxing Probe. I think it's the only one in there, judging by the speed with which he found it. And gut shot's in
the
hand.
Gut shot. One of the things, I have been playing a lot of different Bird Elf decks. Gut shot is the card that makes me just wish that something was different, and it won't take very long, only a couple of months, and something will be different.
Yeah. There'll be no more Birthing Pod. That's going to be different.
Oh, well. I don't mind Birthing Pod going away. Phyrexian mana makes me frown.
And Blade Splicer. Second force from Austin. Remember, Austin did not, in his opening hand, as far as you know, does not have any more lands and does not have another color of mana. I think he may have a Razor Verge. Nah, that wouldn't make sense if he had a Razor Verge Thicket. He would have cast it. I'm not positive if he has any more land sources.
What you got?
All right, let's find out. No, he drew Thrag Tusk. Scary here. Just a single Snapcaster Mage right now could be a big issue for Austin. You know, these decks really, you know, if a parade of gut shots starts on Adam's side of the board, it can be really devastating for Austin's kind of deck. All right, we've got to catch up for lost time. He has spent 6 of his own life and might even spend more. Third land, and he's going to cast Delver's Secrets. I believe that's... No, with the draw off the Taxing Probe, he doesn't know the top card of his deck anymore. So this isn't a rigged Delver. He's representing Mana Leak on the pod.
There's some pretty forests over there from Austin Fritz.
Yeah, they are beta forests.
That's right.
So Austin a little choked on mana, and this is where Delver really can punish decks.
No.
All Delver's answers cost less mana than the threats they answer. So when the other guy's stuck on mana, the way you beat it is by overloading on threats. When you're stuck on mana, this is a very dangerous position to be in.
Now imagine that Austin did not have a gut shot hit his creature. He'd have 4 mana is so much more than 3. It's just kind of crazy how much more mana it actually feels like.
Yeah.
Blade Splicer in hand, Birthing Pod in hand,
Well, all those 3 drops.
Sword of
yeah.
Feast and Famine.
And he knew about. We know the 4th one is Thragtusk, so Blade Splicer will go down. And yep, mana leak will. I'm pretty sure Prosak was mana leaking whatever Austin tried for there. So now he knows that his hand: Thragtusk, Sword, and Birthing Pod. Delver not going to flip. Sometimes he's a quite annoying fellow that way. Sometimes he's completely broken because he flips right away. And he's
Thought
gonna
Scour
himself main phase, looking to see.
And we have the draw. Another land from Adam. It looks like a Moorland Haunt, but I can't quite tell.
Yep,
Okay, there
yep,
we
it's
are,
a
Moorland
Moorland
Haunt.
Yeah, despite being in the mono blue Delver deck, he does play 2 Moorland Haunts anyway. Only 3 Glacial Fortress though, not 4. Really, the blue mana. I don't know.
I mean, he doesn't
Islands are
really
good.
have any reason to play more than that without hurting his mana a little bit more.
So casting another Delver. The main phase Scour for winning last times, yeah. Especially when you're just trying to dig for extra things, the first thing you'll do before making a land drop on a turn is Scour yourself. In the same way that you'd ponder before doing anything. So Prosak's not gonna, eventually he's not gonna be able to answer this, stop this Birthing Pod from coming down. His hope is that by the time he does it, that he'll have enough control on the board that he won't care.
Well, rather that I would say not control so much as by the time he does it, that enough speed. Because I mean, right now at this point, if Adam's Delvers don't flip, he might just fall behind what Austin can do.
Right. I mean, so he's got to set up the Delver flip, but once he does, it's just lightning fast.
I mean, right now we're looking at 3 damage a turn, which is a 6-turn clock. Flips, and we're looking at 7 damage a turn.
Which, and he probably has a Vapor Snag and a Snapcaster, so it's like a 2-turn clock. Or something, it wouldn't be surprising if there's something like that hiding out.
Now, Austin has some things to think about. Sword of Feast and Famine and Birthing Pod are definite cards he can cast. He starts out with Sword of Feast and Famine. Does it work? Looks like it's resolving. And another bird.
All right, pass it back.
The coast. This is a kind of a communication that the coast is clear in some ways. Flip?
Not
No.
instant. All right. Reprieve here
Ooh.
for Austin Fritz. He'll deal 3. So if the flip's next turn, it's still a 2-turn clock. Well, yeah, that's a little. That's not entirely certain.
Sword of
anymore.
War and Peace. 1 mana
Right.
open. Now, a equip here does play into a Gut Shot, does play into a Vapor Snag, plays into. I guess that's all that there are.
The
for...
Gut Shot's fine because he can re-equip.
This is true. The Vapor Snag would be
The
pretty
Vapor
devastating.
Snag's not okay.
Now, honestly, just dropping a Thragtusk right now is not a terrible
Yeah.
play.
The Gut Shot's probably not there. I mean, if you have the Gut Shot, you just don't even let him you just Gut Shot a bird. It would have happened a while ago. We know he didn't draw one because he didn't flip his Delvers.
Actually, do you prefer the Thragtusk here or the Birthing Pod? I think I prefer the Thragtusk right now. Oh, a Johnny in hand.
I mean, the
Interesting.
thing about Thragtusk is that even if this happened,
I don't like that at all.
well, his hands, yeah, a Johnny Caller over the Pride Hand, that's not a card right now. So he can swing, untap his lands, play pod into. I don't really want to pod into a 2-drop here, actually. That's fine. So he does that, and he does have, and Snag's backbreaking there.
Ouch. Just a. Oh, God.
God, that's just gross. Yeah,
I mean,
and that's what Delver does.
but I mean, it didn't have to have done that.
Sure. I don't.
That's what Delver can do to punish someone for when they play certain.
Yeah, I mean it's not. Yeah, I mean you'd want to play Thragtusk there instead, but Thragtusk still isn't winning the race.
I don't know about
Well, like
that.
I mean, no. I mean, I still don't think it races. I think if the Delvers flip, it still doesn't race Sword of War and Peace efficiently.
I think it gets a long way to going towards that.
Sure. I mean, I guess the fact that he can pod at the next turn is pretty good.
Well, the fact that he can,
I don't know.
like, attack for 5 and then lay the pod down.
Delver,
like,
yeah, Delver's really cool that way. That sometimes it just races stuff. I mean, these guys are 3/2 flyers sometimes. It's cool. Anyway, but yeah, Fritz is often
there's just
gonna
no
have to
reason
let
to
him
make that
forward.
play unless you were the greediest of greedy. There are certain moments where greed is good.
All right.
This was not one of
Swinging all
them.
3. And he's got a. Does he? If he takes this all,
He's only got 2 cards in hand, right?
5. That's 7 damage if he takes it, plus a 2
a lot of
point life
damage.
gain from Adam.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, it's 8. 8 damage.
Yeah, it's 3 cards in hand. Alright, so yeah, both the swing in here. So if you're Austin, what you're trying to do, I suppose, is you're trying to kind of continue to play threats while not... Yeah, you need to draw land. There's a lot you need to do, so...
Was that an open... Was that a land that comes into play untapped? If it was, he's actually not in the roughest. He's still in rough, but...
I mean, he's still in rough because if once the top card of Adam's deck's an instant or sorcery, like, this is very bad for him. Which it will happen eventually.
So I see Pod, I see a Johnny, I see Thragtusk, I see something.
Yeah. Not a land. Prosak's going to take this one.
Again, we go back to that Thragtusk turn. Last turn, I mean...
Okay, it is an untapped land. Alright.
I think he's going to repeat the same greedy play.
Well, he's got to. What else does he do?
I don't know that he has to.
Okay. I mean, if there's a Vapor Snag in Prosak's hand, I don't really... I'm hard-pressed to believe that there's lines where Austin can win this. You know, wait, Delver's flip, snag the birds, kill him. Like, there's a lot of things that are really dicey if he has a snag. Can't play Birthing Pod here. You don't have the life points for it. So the only cards in his hand, he can't cast a Johnny because that requires tapping both birds and it'd be terrible in general. So like the only cards in his hand really is Thragtusk.
One thing that we do have to point out, both of these players have access to each other's deck lists. They have looked at each other's decks.
Oh god, alright, Snap. And Snapcaster on the gut shot. I mean, you can't play around things like that because you're just dead to Snapcaster Mage. I mean... But I mean, yeah, it's terrible for Austin that happened. And yeah, Austin concedes.
There we go.
Prosak. So Prosak up 1-0.
Oh, wow.
Really.
Okay.
All right.
So, for one of the things that happens in every top 8 that we do, in every round of the top 8, is that we give away some prizes.
Yeah,
so if you have been watching all of this time for the past, I guess, year and a half or so that we've been doing SCG Live, what we do is we ask a trivia question, and one lucky contestant out there who correctly answers the trivia question, and they put their answer to the hashtag right there, SCG Premium,
by the bird.
will get the prize for the round.
SCG Premium, not...
Now, SCG Premium, that hashtag is what you need to have to be eligible, along with the correct answer. Amongst those people, one person is chosen at random. And the prize, though. The prize for this round, 3 free months of Star City Games Premium.
Okay.
Right, you can't quite see him, but if you looked right over here, you'd see a SCG Premium writer who is sitting and watching along with all of you. Getting, I think, articles that, even if you are the curmudgeonliest curmudgeon, and you're like, I don't like any of those articles, it's important if you are a tournament player to be reading SCG Premium, if only to get the idea of what everyone's concept of what's happening in Magic is. To get deck lists so that you can be like, gosh, I think this person is copying Jerry Thompson's list from such and such. And if you're right and you know that deck list, it can help you win. So I'm a big fan of winning. Read SCG Premium. Good times.
So let's do a question then. So the question we're kind of trying to theme the questions. The one today.
He's the question man today.
Yeah. So we're more in the questions. We're gonna ask you stuff. Last night there was an interesting panel. If you watched the one, there's streamed at Comic-Con about some stuff from, you know, the upcoming set, Return to Ravnica. And we're gonna ask you. You know, you can find all this stuff. It's all been posted, but you have to find it on your own. So the 3-month question we're gonna ask you is that they announced the name of our. They've announced the name of our second set in the Return to Ravnica block. And so we would like you to tweet the name of the second set of this block.
So what's after Return to Ravnica? Tweet your answers to hashtag SCG Premium. One lucky person amongst those who answers it correctly with that hashtag will get 3 free months of Star City Games Premium, and we will announce that at the end of this match.
All right. So
now, let's go back to the match in hand and
talk about some sideboarding.
So Austin Fritz, what is he going to do? What's he going to bring in here? I think that...
Well, he's got to have a plan for this matchup. I mean...
I agree.
It's not like you're surprised by
honestly, I do like some Ratchet Bombs. Ratchet Bombs are a very good answer to early Delvers. and they can make someone not even want to flip their Delvers, which is a positive thing to be doing.
He has Sword of Body in mind as one of his swords. That's probably pretty good. It's Pearl Blue. This is a very blue-heavy version. He did put a Mental Misstep in the board, which we were talking about last round. That was pretty peculiar. But I mean,
it does stop a Vapor Snag. Just one Vapor Snag can go away, and it can stop a Delver from being on the table right away. And now, the problem, of course, with a card like Mental Misstep is that with lots of the cards like Ponder, Vapor Snag, all of that, since there are Snapcasters here, you can stop the one, and then the second time around, it'll still happen.
Yeah, So a lot of his cards in general are in the main deck are designed to be pretty good against Delver in the first place. Or he's trying to sneak a very low curve in. You could talk about possibly looking at a card like, I don't know. Those are the ones you could maybe board in a card like Sigarda. That's one if it manages to resolve is good against Delver, but it's a lot of mana. I'm not. Yeah, it depends whether or not Prosak tries to go big in this matchup.
Cards I like for Prosak. The Gut Shot, absolutely auto-include. And then I also really like Phantasmal Image. When you're playing against a deck, you can assume it has Strangleroot Geist.
The question is if he boards in Restoration Angel in this matchup. So,
one of the reasons to consider not Restoration Angel is he only has 7 white sources in his deck.
Well, he has it in his board, yeah. We can look at that. We can look at Dismember as well. In the matchup, a lot, I think, with Dismember, for me boarding it in, I would look at, Austin does play Restoration Angels, which is the 4 in the main, which is one of the great card that Dismember is very good against.
Yeah. And there are, as you can see in the sideboard, Hero of Bladehold. Now, Adam might have the deck list, but he does not know how Austin is going to sideboard. So, that is a potential extra reason to think about it, because maybe Austin is the kind of player that will bring in a hero. I don't know that that's what Austin wants, but that Dismember does provide an answer to that question. Okay, so we continue.
Okay, so Austin will be on the play. All right. Yeah, so with those plans, I still like, we're talking about Prosak's deck is we really like, or I at least like in this sort of matchup. The fact that Augur Bolas made his deck a little bit cheaper, I think is really strong in this matchup. Talrand, Austin Fritz does not run much removal at all. So a Talrand has the potential to go out of control if he resolves
I mean,
one.
We've absolutely seen Talrand just explode all over, where you're like, oh, that is 6 Drakes. Okay, well, I don't have any answers except for one of my 2 Miracle cards here, and I didn't Miracle it. Adam Prosak now down to 6 cards. Yeah, I mean, I'm replaying that first game in my head, and even if you attach the Sword of Feast and Famine to the bird and hit, I don't even know if that's actually a very exciting line of play as compared to putting down a Thrag Tusk when you know it's going to resolve.
Yeah.
I mean, then after that, you put down the Thrag Tusk when you know it's going to resolve, and then you follow that up, and on the next turn, you can potentially equip it with the Sword of Feast and Famine if you want, and if he Vapor Snags it, then you still get a Beast.
Right. It's a strong play. You can't really, I mean, that's why Thrag Tusk is appealing against Delver decks, because there aren't good ways to answer Thrag Tusk.
Yeah, once it's in play.
Right.
First turn, Avacyn's Pilgrim. Let's see if Prosak has one of the millions of gut shots. We do see a Gitaxian Probe.
Another excellent keep from Austin. 3 lands. He has the turn 2 sword. He has the turn 2 Strangleroot Geist, which he'll do instead of the sword. And a Dismember for potential.
Maybe he'll do it. I wouldn't mind dropping the turn 2 sword, just getting it on the table.
If Prosak plays a Delver, I'll almost certainly go Geist Dismember. I'll put the sword on the table. There's a lot of good plays here. It stops. The Dismember is good for insurance against Prosak, just like early flipping a Delver, which I like.
And Ponder.
He sees, I believe he is shuffling immediately. Didn't even have to think about it.
Yeah, he's like, nope. Whatever it was, that was a big nope. For those of you who are just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan, and I'm here with Matthias Hunt. This is the first round of the Star City Games Live Open Series Top 8. We're in the quarterfinals here. On the right, Adam Prosak up 1-0 versus Austin Fritz. It's Adam Prosak's quote-unquote mono blue wizards. You can see there's some white mana there. All of his whites in the sideboard, and Austin Fritz with white-green aggro. An infinite amount of time is left in this round, but they still have to play at a reasonable pace.
Looks like another sword was drawn by Austin. This one of the Feast Famine kind. He says, yeah, Sword of Body in Mind. It does give him the potential next turn to make a Strangleroot Geist and make a pro-blue Strangleroot Geist.
I'm a fan of it. Yeah. That seems reasonable to me.
Another Seachrome Coast, and you'll pass back.
And another land for Austin.
Lands are fine here.
Oh yeah, I wasn't knocking on lands.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So you can try to so go for Strangleroot
Geist. Does it work? And what say you, Adam?
Here to represent a mana leak, but or I would, but. Yeah, I mean, the problem is that even so, a land and the sword's going to end up on a creature at the end of this turn, unless he has a gut shot anyway.
He equips it.
All right. Now we will likely see
Steel Sabotage.
A turn too late.
Bouncy, bouncy.
So he might, if he has a Snapcaster Mage, he might be holding onto that to try to stop the sword from coming back down.
And that leaves him the ability to do it. 3 mana.
Yeah. Razorverge Thicket now for Fritz, so lands in a little bit of an awkward order, but that's okay.
Now, given that you know that there's a possibility of Snapcaster Steel Sabotage, do you just attack before, even if you had the land, do you attack before bothering to cast a sword?
I mean, why not cast this? What else are you doing?
You're stopping the ability of the Snapcaster Steel Sabotage from being a total blowout.
So, because then it can block one of your creatures, I suppose?
Yeah.
If you trade the Snapcaster with my Strangleroot Geist, I don't suppose I really care that much about it. I'd call him on it. Okay.
Show me you got it.
I mean, okay, so worst case scenario, he counters it, and then your Strangleroot trades with his Snapcaster. I'm okay with that. He did mulligan. It's possible he just kept a bad hand. Okay.
And here's...
Let's have it. Sure. I might have gone for the worst of my 2 swords. If I think he has a War Piece as the other one. I might have just gone with the War Piece.
In for 2. Tapped land, go.
If you're going to not play the sword pre-combat, I think then your play might just be to not play any sword at that point. But which problem is Prosak's probably fine with that. You're not dealing enough damage to make him scared of you doing that. Alright. So Prosak
the Pilgrim sits back.
Yeah.
Or sits, yeah, there is a Augur. What you got over there? Lion, Ponder.
Get a Ponder.
And I couldn't see what the last one was, but he took the Ponder. Okay, the only target he could get. Another Augur. Image, land, image.
This one
all
misses.
To the bottom.
This one's a Lumen Grid Warden.
There are 24 potential targets in his main deck. So and after board,
40%.
Perhaps 27 that we know about.
Yeah, so for you to miss there, that's like you're about 21% to miss on that.
And with 2 of them?
No, I mean just on one of them. It's like it's 27.
I understand,
125.
but then missing with 2.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, between the 2 of them, having one of them miss.
Okay.
Gotta be like.
So to have one of them miss, sure. I mean, all right, it's gonna be 9/25 that one of them would that at least one would miss.
Right.
So you're at
36%.
like 36% that one of them misses.
Sword number 2. It's a pretty good sword.
All right, sword equips to Strangleroot Geist, and yeah,
Dead Augur.
Can't actually let that equip that hit. This is one of the situations I said like I would have baited with the worst sword,
right?
And I think right here is why.
Now imagine if a Talran hits the table.
Yeah, the problem with that play is it does tell Adam you have another sword if you try to bait with the worst.
Sometimes you know what? Yeah. Sometimes though you just don't. know. Like, pardon me. We've got a first report in from the top 8. Caleb has won the quarterfinal match. That is a Naya Pod versus Naya Humans.
Yeah, so
Caleb on top.
Caleb, like, it kind of was my early prediction to take down. Remember that he will play the winner of this match. He's playing a big Naya Pod deck, so like all Worm Coils, Elesh Norns, the whole deal.
And that is a 2-0 victory.
We have Talrand here.
Oh boy, now that sword feels like it's the sad sword.
And I think if you're Caleb, you've got to be cheering for Austin to win this matchup. Austin's is a great matchup for you. Prosak, not as much.
Now, interesting, we have also the hero. Dungrove Elder is up 1 game versus Esper midrange.
All right. So that Talrand's in play, and immediately Jataxian Probe will make a Drake.
Yikes.
And this is where Talrand, like I said, white green not without much removal.
Dismember for Talrand. Get out of there.
Yeah.
Here's my hand. I got a Strangerroot Geist.
Remember that Austin, for those of you who want, Austin does not get an opportunity to kill the Talrand before a Drake comes into play.
There's that pesky passing priority thing that you don't do until you're ready.
Right.
Cast it. I'll kill it. Well, you can't yet. I've still got priority.
I still have priority. All right, Austin tanking here. Man, still wish that sword was the other one. But he has a township active, and he has a decent amount of creatures going on. The township kind of awkward with the Strangerroot Geist in that it removes
what is that
its
he has
Undying.
in his hand? Wait.
It's another Strangerroot
No,
Geist
the
is
card he
one.
drew. I think that's
know.
a sword.
Well, that would be it's a sword of body. I mean, it can't be the right kind of sword. He only plays 1 Body and Mind, and it's in the board, and it's in the graveyard. So
Maybe I'm seeing it wrong. Oh, I'm
it's,
seeing it totally Rancor. Oh, Doctor.
That is very real, though.
Oh, Doctor. Yeah. If he had a sort of body in mind, he wouldn't even be able to do this.
Then he'd put it on the wolf token. I don't know.
Oh, Lord. And he can pump up if he wants. This is exciting. Oh, Magic. How come you're such a great game?
I know, you just played, Augur Bolas, really good against Strangerroot Geists that don't have swords and Rancors on them.
Oh, boy. That guy is a big guy.
Yeah, let's just go for
in
it.
for 6, maybe
I
7.
like this. He's keeping a Strangerroot Geist in hand because I think he feels pretty powerful here. The life gain is what he actually wants out of it. It's only 1 point, but I like that.
1
play.
point matters.
I mean, yeah.
And he's doing some counting.
Just 2 cards in Prosak's hand, so yeah. Problem is Prosak, it's going to be hard for him to deal with this Strangerroot Geist. He's going to need a Vapor Snag. And then
Cast
the
it after
post-combat.
And then moving over the sword, it looks like.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. You're probably going to move the sword back to the Rancored guy next turn. Like, do you actually want it somewhere else? Because now you can't township next turn. I wouldn't move it.
Everything else
It. Yeah.
And Ponder.
Sort of one piece of his own.
Sword.
You can put it on the Drake. But you don't have is that card a land? Does he have a land?
No.
Does he have a
Vapor
snag? Okay, well, Snag's good too. That's fine.
Snag is good too.
Yeah.
I agree.
You can play the sword, then you can snag. Yeah, you're still kind of in this.
I mean, he's backed into a corner. He's got plays. He's got good cards, but he is running out of time.
Yep. This Rancor card is putting being really
whoever
pesky.
thought of the card Rancor? Ooh, that's a sick one.
I know it now. I believe there's a confirmed story that originally, when Rancor was designed, it was intended to cost 3 mana. There's a cycle of cards that all do this from the set, but it was like inadvertently printed at 1 instead of 3.
Makes it fair.
Well, I mean, they have since now printed it like intentionally as a card that costs 1. But I believe that was part of the initial printing of it.
And Adam says, you know what? These cards are no good. Let's find a new one. I suppose you could say that there are 3 new ones on top. There we go.
Yeah, there are 3 new ones on top.
3
You
new
just don't get to
ones.
know what the other ones are yet.
Hey, what do I get to find out? Whatever I drew. Okay.
Yeah, Rancor actually is part of an entire cycle. The other cards just aren't. Yeah.
And here comes the Drake. Dragon's Breath is one of my favorite ones from that cycle.
Is that? I think that's a different cycle.
Is it?
That's,
I'm wrong. That's not the same
cycle. Where
cycle.
all
That's a different cycle.
They don't all cost 3, but I believe Rancor was supposed to cost 3.
Phantasmal Image is copying a Strangleroot Geist.
All right, so,
Remember?
Imaging a Geist. Yeah, I mean it's, and he's gonna have it. I don't know. You could image a Snapcaster and get a Ponder out of the deal. He has a Vapor Snag, so Prosak in a lot more of an explosive position right now than it actually looks like.
Yeah, the breaths and all of that. That was a different cycle later on.
Yeah, those are from Scourge.
Yeah. It's all so long ago. It feels like the same era.
The cards looked different back then.
Back in my day, we used to actually have tap written all out on the cards.
On your mono artifacts.
You had to read it. Despondency.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So So Austin Fritz recapping. All right, swinging both Strangleroot Geists. One with a Sword of War and Peace, one with a Rancor. Recall Prosak's at 4, but he has a Vapor Snag in hand, which we're about to see. That's going to get rid of the one with Rancor on it. And that's going to give Prosak the chance to undie his Phantasmal Image, I think, as a Snapcaster Mage, 3/2 Snapcaster Mage, and give his, I believe he makes his play, bounces the Strangleroot Geist, undies the Phantasmal Image as a Snapcaster Mage after it blocks this, and then give this Vapor Snag flashback a second time, and then use it on end step. I mean, because then it... Oh, he's in a Restoration Angel.
That was a nice draw.
Instead.
that was a good one.
Well, now it can undie as a Restoration Angel, getting rid of the Snapcaster Mage, flickering the Snapcaster Mage, which he's going to do. Right.
Similar position.
And Vapor Snag, yeah. All right. That's actually kind of better for Prosak than what he was originally planning. I think on end step, if you snag away the Restoration Angel, you can swing for 6, which I guess is not 11. Yeah, it's a start.
Take 1.
Yep. Fritz drops to 10. Prosak with 6 unanswered in the air. If he has a Sword of War and Peace on top of his deck, he wins. It's a kind of a big if, but you know. Just slam it if it's there. I don't think it is. Has an active Moorland Haunt, but Sword of War and Peace gives Pro White. It's sort of feast and famine.
Not terrible.
Okay, so he puts it on. If he puts it on Snapcaster Mage, that's lethal.
He's doing some counting.
That's lethal. That's 10. Yeah, that should be game. 4, 8, 10. In for the exact. That's it. Austin Fritz is going to confirm it, but yeah. Sword draw there, pretty good. And I think Prosak's going to be moving
there. It is.
There's the handshake.
2-0.
2-0. Adam Prosak defeats Austin Fritz. Tomorrow morning, he will be facing off against Caleb Durward in the semifinals.
Yeah, there was an opening there to use that Rancor, kill the image, and then he loses the Rancor. But you know what? He's alive.
He was probably